Picture this. You're a senior Iranian military officer. It's just after midnight on February 28, 2026. You're sitting in a radar command room in Bandar Abbas, watching the Gulf of Oman on your screens. And what you see, or more importantly, what you don't see, makes you feel safe. The USS Abraham Lincoln, the American Carrier Strike Group, your intelligence briefings have been tracking for weeks, is gone. Off your radar. Not in the Gulf, not a threat. What you don't know, what no one on that side of the Gulf knows, is that the Abraham Lincoln isn't gone. It's right there, 200 miles away, in the dark, and its flight deck just came alive. Over the next 72 hours, the USS Abraham Lincoln and its strike group would hit over 1,700 targets inside Iran. Command centers, IRGC headquarters, missile sites, naval assets, radar networks, all of it in 3 days by one carrier strike group. To understand what 1,700 strikes actually mean, you need to understand what it looked like from the other side of that radar screen, from the flight deck of the Lincoln itself. When the launch order came through on February 28th, Lieutenant Commander Marcus Webb was already strapped into his FA-18. He'd been sitting in the cockpit for 40 minutes, waiting. His crew chief knocked twice on the canopy, the signal. Webb gave a thumbs up. Then the catapult fired. Webb flew 4 combat sorties in the next 18 hours. So did most of the Lincoln's air wing. Because here's the thing about surge operations on a Nimitz-class carrier. The ship doesn't stop. It can't stop. It was built for exactly this, to be relentless. Iran had 72 hours to stop it. They had every missile, every drone, every coastal battery they'd been building for 20 years, and it wasn't enough. Operation Epic Fury began officially at 2:14 on February 28, 2026. The first shots weren't from jets. They were from the Carrier Strike Group's vertical launch system, the tubes buried in the hulls of its escorting warships that fired Tomahawk cruise missiles, quietly, precisely, at targets hundreds of miles away that the Iranians thought were unreachable. Then the jets hit the sky, wave after wave, every 90 minutes, like clockwork. FA-18 Super Hornets carrying the bombs. EA-18G Growlers flying ahead of them, not to drop anything, but to blind every Iranian radar system. And above them all, the E-2D Hawkeye, the carrier's flying command center, coordinating the entire airspace like air traffic control for a war. And this is the part that changed everything, is that the Lincoln wasn't just one carrier working alone. The strike package arriving over Iran that first night included B-2 stealth bombers flying from Missouri, B-52s from Diego Garcia, F-22s and F-35s from bases across the region. The Lincoln was the fist, but the rest of American air power was the arm swinging it. Within 48 hours, every Iranian warship that had been stationed east of the Strait of Hormuz before hostilities began was gone. CENTCOM confirmed it in a single statement. They called it denied. 11 warships, 2 days. That word, denied, is one of the most understated things the US military has ever said. Konarak Naval Base, Iran's main IRGC naval facility on the southern coast, didn't survive the first day. Now, Iran was not going to take 1,700 strikes lying down. And to be fair to them, they tried. On March 2nd, Iranian coastal missile batteries lit up the night and launched a volley of cruise missiles toward the Gulf of Oman. Their target? The USS Abraham Lincoln. Iranian state media immediately broke the story. Breaking news. Urgent. They claimed Iranian missiles had successfully struck the USS Abraham Lincoln. The carrier, they said, was on fire, damaged, taken out of the fight. Across social media, the claim exploded. millions of views. Was it true? CENTCOM issued a statement within the hour. The USS Abraham Lincoln had not been struck, was not on fire, was not damaged. In fact, and this is the part that became one of the most embarrassing moments in IRGC history, the missile that Iran claimed hit the Lincoln had actually struck the Shahid Bagheri, an Iranian drone carrier. Iran had fired its coastal missiles at its own ship. Let's put 1,700 strikes in 72 hours into a number your brain can actually hold. That is more than 23 strikes per hour. One strike every 2.5 minutes. Every time you've ever sat through a TV commercial break, during that time, the Lincoln hit another target for 3 straight days without pause. To execute this, the Lincoln's air wing ran what the Navy calls surge operations. Every available aircraft, every available pilot, rotating through missions at a tempo no other Navy on Earth could sustain for more than a few hours. The Lincoln sustained it for 3 days because a Nimitz-class carrier wasn't designed to fight. It was designed to win. The aircraft involved reads like someone emptied every hangar in the American arsenal. B-1 Lancers, B-2 Spirits, and B-52 Stratofortress, F-15s, F-16, and F-A-18 strike fighters, F-22 and F-35 fifth-generation stealth jets, A-10 Thunderbolts, EA-18 electronic warfare aircraft, all of them, over Iran, at the same time. On the third night, an Iranian air defense operator looked at his radar scope and saw so many aircraft inbound that he reportedly shut down his own system because he thought it was malfunctioning. After 72 hours, the Lincoln strike group began to stand down from surge operations. The jets kept flying, the catapults kept firing, but the pace pulled back. The work was done, and somewhere in Bandar Abbas, in a radar room that had tracked the Lincoln's absence and made a very costly assumption, the screens were dark. There's a reason the United States maintains 11 carrier strike groups, while no other nation comes close to matching its carrier power. It's not tradition, it's not prestige. The USS Abraham Lincoln's 72-hour campaign is the reason. Made visible, made real, made undeniable. What that Iranian commander saw, or thought he didn't see, on his radar screen at midnight changed the history of this conflict. He thought the Lincoln was gone. It wasn't. Subscribe to Strike Command for weekly breakdowns of the operations reshaping the world. See you next time.